You gotta accept it. Oh, is it going on? Okay.
Thank you.
All right, David.
Hold on a while.
Right here.
I'm gonna put it out here. Let's see.
Yeah, there you go. Thanks, Coach.
Thank you, guys.
Hello, everybody. I'm Alex Dodd, and welcome to Dodd Sports Network. Today at the South Carolina College Football All-Star Game, the first inaugural class of the SC Football Hall of Fame was inducted, and it was a good one. Members include Harry Carson, George Rogers, Frank Howard, Willie Jeffries, Banks McFadden, Danny Ford, Donnie Shell, and the all-time great coach Sam Wyche. Harry Carson was a South Carolina State Bulldog from 1972 to 1975 and was one of the all-time greats to ever put on the garnet blue uniform. He was a middle linebacker for the New York Giants Super Bowl team in Super Bowl 21 when they were the champions, and he was a 9-time Pro Bowler and is in the NFL Hall of Fame in Canton, Ohio. Next is George Rogers. He played for South Carolina in 1977 through 1980, and he was a 1987 Heisman Trophy winner, a 1981 #1 draft pick for the New Orleans Saints, and his number 38 number is retired at the University of South Carolina and was retired while he was still playing there in his final game as a Gamecock. He was a member of the Super Bowl 22 championship team, and he is still number 2 in NFL rookie rush yards, only behind the one and only Eric Dickerson, the NFL legend. Frank Howard, speaking of legends, was a Clemson legend as a head coach. He played college football at Alabama, and in 1939 suffered an injury that ended his career and forced him to join the coaching game, and he began coaching at Clemson, and he was the head coach from 1939 until 1969 for the Tigers. The playing surface at Clemson is named after him, Frank Howard Field, and he brought to Clemson Howard's Rock, which is still rubbed before every game before the Tigers run down the hill, and his quote, "Give me 110% or keep your filthy hands off my rock," will live in Clemson infamy. Willie Jeffries was a head coach at South Carolina State from 1982 to 2001 and is the winningest Bulldog coach ever. He was 179, 132, and 6 in his tenure with the Bulldogs, and he had 6 MEAC championship titles, 2 national championships, and has won the most games in MEAC history, as he won the most conference games in the MEAC history. Next is Bank McFadden. He was a tri-sport athlete at Clemson from 1936 until 1940. He ran track, played basketball and football for Clemson, and lettered in all 3 sports. He was a first-round draft pick for the Brooklyn Dodgers football team in 1940, and he was both his football and basketball numbers 66 and number 55, are retired at Clemson. Next is the all-time great coach at Clemson, Danny Ford. Danny Ford played for Alabama from 1967 until 1969 and coached Clemson. When he took over a Clemson program, he coached the Tigers to 5 Atlantic Coast Conference titles and 6 bowl wins and a 96-29-4 record at Clemson in 12 seasons. He's the second winningest coach in Clemson history, only behind his good friend Frank Howard. Next is Donnie Shell. He played at South Carolina State from 1970 to 1973, where he was a linebacker and defensive back and was all-conference for the Bulldogs, and that is the MEAC conference. He's a member of the Pittsburgh Steelers all-time team and the NFL Silver Anniversary Super Bowl team, and he also was a player development specialist for the Carolina Panthers from 1994 until 2009 when he retired. And last but not least, the all-time great coach, Sam Wyche. Sam Wyche played football at Furman from 1963 until 1965, where he was an All-American football player, and then he went on to the NFL, where he played and eventually ended up coaching, and he coached the Cincinnati Bengals to the Super Bowl 23 championship and an AFC championship as well that year. I have interviews with several of these great South Carolina football legends, and here are those interviews right now. Thank you, and God bless.
Get them things now and signings together and stuff, and he's a lot of fun to be around. We were glad he came down. He'd been, at Duke for a little while and going back to Duke from here, but he thought enough of it to come down here to be among the people, and it was fun having him down here. He's a great player, which everybody knows. Sam Wyche was a great coach and great player with Furman here, and went on to the Super Bowl. And of course, Willie Jeffers and Coach Frank Howard. Everybody knows about Coach Frank Howard and what he did. Harry Carson, I mean, I watched him on Sundays a lot. Donnie Shell, I watched him on Sundays a lot too. So, and Banks McFadden, he was probably the best athlete he's ever been at Clemson, and wore 2 hips out dancing. He had 2 artificial hips put in, and wore one of them out, and then wore the second one out. He was a go-getter, good man, great with the kids at Clemson too. I mean, when he was in the intramural field over there, he was great with all the young people over there at the university. So we had a good class. I don't think I'm missing anybody else. I believe that's all of them.
Dodd here with Sam Wyche, South Carolina football great, inducted in the South Carolina Football Hall of Fame today. And Coach, talk about this induction and what it means to you.
Well, it's an honor, for one thing, to be in the company of the people that have been inducted. I don't really belong there, honestly, in my own mind, but it is flattering knowing that when people get up close to me, I'm pretty disappointing, you know what I mean? But South Carolina puts out a lot of great athletes, a lot of great football players, and to be part of the founding class for the Football Hall of Fame is something I'll treasure all my life.
Talk about this game and how it just gives others a shot to do what you did and go to professional football and showcase their talent.
Well, it does. This gives guys a chance to get one last look. 5 weeks before the NFL draft, scouts out here, this film will be sent to all 32 teams, all Canadian teams, all Arena Football League teams. And I know that I was a free agent, walk-on, got a tryout, and made it with the Bengals. It can be done. I was a walk-on in college. I didn't get a scholarship to college. So it can be done. You just got to get exposure, and this is exposing a lot of good players.
Thank you for time. Rogers, former Heisman Trophy winner and South Carolina Gamecock. And Mr. Rogers, just talk about the significance of getting inducted in the South Carolina Football Hall of Fame.
It's always good to get inducted in anything. I mean, any kind of awards you get, you like to thank your teammates, of course, the guys that got me here. And, I'm just waiting for some of the other guys like Charlie Brown and some of the other guys that were pretty good football players to get in this same thing, man. I think it's a good start, and I hope they keep the good work up.
Talk about what you think about this South Carolina College Football All-Star Game and how it's going to play into the future for other athletes.
Oh, it's going to be good for him. It's good to give another guy a chance to get seen, get him a chance to show his skills, and maybe even get a chance to be on somebody's roster. So, it's always good. And I just thank Wyatt and the whole gang that he came in here with. That's what it's all about, is helping these kids get something to do.